around that time here in Nashville, it was Cool Daddy Fresh and Pistol.
I gotta look these names up because I don't know who you talking.
I'm going to start with, so I'm gonna date myself on these because there's a age gap apparently. um, so I'm gonna do Wu-Tang, Enter the Wu-Tang. And the reason why I selected that at that time, I had just moved to Tennessee and I got a job at a record store. That was my first job at a record store. I was working at, believe it or not, Turtles Music in Donaldson. Turtles turned to
I have no
Blockbuster.
idea
We
what
know
you're
what
talking
happened.
about.
We know what happened. So people used to be able to rent videos and stuff at Blockbuster, but before there was a Blockbuster, there was Turtles. And what is significant about that was Wu-Tang. So again, I'm in the South. I'm coming from Michigan. I'm in the South. And Wu-Tang was placed in the pop rock section. They didn't know where to put it because of the cover art and everything like that. They never heard anything like that. So here I am, the black guy working at the record store. And I'm having, of course, they assign me to the rap. But when you think of Wu-Tang and what they did and where I was in my life, I'm coming from Michigan. I know Esham. I know Jake the Flake. I know Top Authority. I know Dayton Family. So when I'm coming to the South and I get introduced to Wu-Tang like it's in my face, and I'm stuck in the rap section, and it's my first job at a record store, like it was just so much. And that CD and the music on there just resonated with me, and it was just a new coming of the next plateau of hip hop.
Okay. Now let me ask you this because it's interesting that someone from up north Midwest area moves to the South and it's like Wu-Tang. Most people they
That was my question.
move down south and it's like, UGK or,
3 6
Outkast,
Mafia.
3 6 Mafia, but for you it was New York music.
Well, see, at that time, so we talking 1990. So at that time, 3 6 was still a little young. Okay. And because I was at the store, like I didn't get introduced to 3 6 until I went to Tennessee State. Okay. And everybody from Memphis was like, yo, and I had dated a girl that lived out in Jackson. So I really got turned on to, well, she was in Covington, Tennessee, to be exact. So, it was like, that's when I got introduced to all of that. Gangster, all that gangster rap and everything from the South. Flint gangster rap, period. But Wu-Tang was different, and around that time, it just really opened up my ear to other things. I've always been into music because like you, Kim, I grew up where my mom was like, on Sundays, you listen to the gospel. There is no rap played.
That's right.
But I got by because there was jazz. So jazz influenced my ear to other things. And when you look at New York and the hip hop that was coming out of New York, it was all jazz influenced and inspired. So that's what kind of drove that ear over to the East Coast.
Okay, that makes sense. Like I said, it's just rare to hear somebody say, yeah, I moved down south and got put on some Wu-Tang. It's like,
or that probably wouldn't have happened like that because around that time here in Nashville, it was Cool Daddy Fresh and Pistol.
I gotta look these names up because I don't know who you talking.
So Cool Daddy Fresh and Pistol, they were the top artists in the city. They were Cool Daddy Fresh had a song, It's All True. Pistol got signed to Eazy's label. So that was before Bone Thugs and everything like that. Like Nashville had a buzzing sound around that time. So we talking 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting kind of deeper into this pick, but I just got questions. But that's what it's about. Like, you putting us on some game right now. So you talk about Nashville's sound at that time. What was unique about the Nashville sound about that time? Or was it, kind of a hybrid blend of just Southern?
I mean, I'm coming from the North. And one thing that we are always told in the North is that everybody in the South is slower. What I noticed was the influence of the North and the East Coast here in the South. So like Boogie. So Wu-Tang had an influence here. So Lot of Dark Man, LA, Lot of Dark Man here in Nashville had Wu-Tang connections. He was a Southern Wu member, basically. So that's where all of that comes from. The beats, the production, it was grimy, it was gritty. When you think about New York, what was that production like in the 90s? It was grimy, it was gritty. It was street talk. So Nashville had street talk. It was just Southern. New York had street talk. It was just East Coast.
Interesting. I feel like the Pistol guy, I've heard his name before. I couldn't tell you nothing about him. Don't put me on Jeopardy.
Wait, what's his name? Pistol and who? Cool Daddy Fresh?
Pistol, Cool Daddy Fresh. Around that time, it was Serving the World Click. Quani Cash came after that. All Star came after that.
Yeah.
Playboy came after that.
When did Young Buck arrive?
Playboy, Young Buck came. So around that Juvenile UTP, you remember UTP era? So after Slow Motion and Back That Ass Up and all that, around that time when UTP was created, that's when, who is that? Skip and Wacko were in there in that group. So that's around the time Young Buck was around, and that's back when the clubs were really popping here in the city. Mix Factory, Palladium, Outer Limit, Chrome, all of that.
You a whole walking historian for Nashville hip hop. And I love that because you would think that Nashville doesn't have a hip hop scene for people outside the city. And that's by design because they've designed it to be country.
Oh, no. Like the hip hop, even when you think of Mike E and Count Bass D. So Count Bass D was picked up by Third Base. So there was a DJ here in the city by the name of DJ White Knight. White Knight introduced Count Bass D to Pete Nice from Third Base because White Knight was the DJ for Third Base back in the day. And Count Bass actually went to MTSU. So a lot of talent came out of MTSU and everything. But Big Doggy Records, which was Reggie White's label, actually signed Mike E back in the day. And that's around the DC Talk and the Grits era, the Christian rap. So Nashville has always had a major artist signed.
No, that's dope. And I agree with Kim, like the fact that you have the knowledge and the history and to say that, because a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people move to Nashville and don't attempt to try to even know that. So like I've heard of Quani Cash and some of the other people, not the people from the 90s, the early 90s. So it's more like
y'all were young.
a little bit,
yeah.
But it's okay.
And like y'all said, I grew up in we listen to gospel music and this little slither of R&B. And me getting more of the secular music was from older cousins, where it's like, if my mama knew I was listening to this, she would be upset. But we get to watch the MTV raps and the BET
106 in Park,
all of that. So